if you can't believe in the founder, if they're not transparent, if they haven't got that drive, if they haven't got that structure, they're never going to make a true success of that business. If they're doing it for the wrong reasons too, if they're just doing it for self-fulfilling ego, you shouldn't start a business for that reason, because once you get to a certain size, you'll create unhappiness in the business and that'll transcend through all of your employees.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's episode, I'm going to introduce to you Brian Jones, who is a founder of VA Platinum. So another recruitment agency just like mine, where they recruit virtual assistants from the Philippines. Now you're going to hear from him how he got started in the VA world, coming from a financial planner into hiring VAs for businesses, and how he's been able to grow it and have VAs working in office spaces in Cebu, and how he had to really pivot in getting them to work from home. And interestingly, he worked with a lot of clients that care a lot about privacy and making sure that the VAs are working in a closed office space. And so, listen up as he shares some of his tips on how you can start your own VA agency, what mistakes to look out for, and some tips around entrepreneurship and how to stay resilient. Hey, Brian, good to have you on today.
Hello, Lynn. Great to be here.
So, Brian, you're my fellow outsourcing king. And I wanted to learn more about your story on how you started your business in outsourcing. And, I always tell my audience, there's so many ways to use outsourcing, right? It's not just creating a recruitment agency like us, because it can be quite challenging with so many staffing. It's like dealing with people all day. But there is other ways to also use outsourcing teams and virtual assistants, what you call it, or offshore teams, to make a living, to start a business, to work from anywhere. Because I think most of the time, all of the time, people are here because they want a freedom business to work anywhere. But of course, interestingly, we have the same business model, and I would love to hear how you got started in that. So take it away and share how you got started.
Okay. Look, I actually started hiring virtual assistants for my own financial planning business back in 2010. And I did that off the back of reading Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, and he talks about virtual assistants in other countries. And I literally just read every chapter of his book and implemented exactly what he said in each chapter. And I wouldn't go on to the next chapter until I implemented what that first chapter had said. So I hired a team of virtual assistants in the Philippines. I actually failed at it for the first 3 years. It was a nightmare. And I really worked out that secret sauce to make it work. And from that secret sauce, Lynn, we were a huge success in that I went from working 60 hours a week, sometimes 70 hours a week, down to just working 1 day a week at the end of 12 months. And then it took me another 6 months longer before I went down to only 1 hour a month in that business. And my profit went from about $100,000 a year up to $500,000 a year in that 18-month period. And then I had all this time spare. We traveled with my family, and I know you've got your families, the same sort of thing. We caravanned, we four-wheel drived, we went overseas, we opened a gymnasium, we built a vegan app. We had a whole lot of fun doing things, and I invested into 7 startups, but it wasn't fulfilling. So I was approached by a couple of people that knew me and said, look, can I help them with their outsourcing to virtual assistants the way I did it for myself? And then those 2 people then referred me to their friends, and their friends said that they'll pay me. And I was like, oh, you'll pay me? Okay. So they started paying me to help them, and I worked out that there was actually a business that could be run. And then those people referred more people, and they referred more people, and that was 4 years ago. And so our business has been going for 4 years, and that's how we started.
Yeah. And so tell me more about that secret sauce that you figured out that makes it all work. And I know myself, I made a lot of mistakes when I first started too. So curious to know, what did you discover for yourself?
Okay. It's the secret sauce. Let's talk about hiring great people. We used to possibly interview, 10 to 15 people, and we'd hire one. Now we have 100 applicants for a specific role, and we hire one. So we have a proven 6-step recruitment process that we go through to ensure that, our clients, they might have 3 candidates that we put forward, but we've already culled it from 100 candidates. So that 6-step process is part of that secret sauce of ensuring that we're finding that high talent. They have to have the skills, but they have to have that cultural fit. Another part is making sure that the people that we would hire to work with us and the clients, we have to be thinking to ourselves, is this the sort of person we would have over for a Sunday roast at our home? if they're not of that sort of caliber that we culturally align ourselves, we don't think any client should ever hire someone that they wouldn't be willing to sit around their family dinner table for a Sunday roast. And it's when you just think about these simple things, that's the secret sauce that goes into it. We've also built two amazing processes. One is an online course. I know you're a fan of online courses too.
Still new to that, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got like this 35 module online course that all new clients go through, which teaches them every mistake that I ever made. It teaches them how to avoid every one of those mistakes. And then we've also built over 350 systems and templates that we literally hand to all new clients and say, here it is. Here's running a virtual assistant team in the Philippines, hand it over to you. Everything from how to answer the phone, how to draft an email, how to work with PDFs. And that saves our clients thousands of hours.
Yeah, totally. Let's talk about the Filipino VAs actually. What do you enjoy about recruiting or outsourcing in this area of the world?
4 years ago when I started this business, I was already working with a contact center in Melbourne. We had a 100-seat contact center. We had a 300-seat contact center in India. And so I really looked around. I went, okay, do we go to Thailand, Sri Lanka, India? Do we do it from Australia? In the end, I chose specifically mostly Cebu in the Philippines because the people are just so lovely. They're family first, job second, but just overall lovely human beings. They're open, they're transparent, they're easygoing, they have amazing humility. And that most aligns, I think, with us Aussies. So I just think, Filipinos are that perfect conduit. And the time zone's only 3 hours at the moment. And a business point of view, English is the first language.
Yeah.
Whereas Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, English is their learned language that they speak.
And you started off as a BPO company with offices, etc. And with the pandemic, now you're at home. Can you tell me more about, I guess, your business operation?
So no, we didn't really ever start off as a BPO per se. Like that's a business process outsourcing for those that don't know. We only started off as a virtual assistant business. And that differs greatly from a BPO. We did start purely from an office basis because a lot of our clients demand data security. They demand that we look after their team members in a certain way from a health, wellness point of view. So we still have our office. During COVID, we have migrated 90% of the team members to work from home, but we are slowly coming back. So we've got 340 odd team members now, and I imagine we'll have half of them back in the office by about June of next year. And by Christmas next year, we should have, I hope, 100%.
Yeah. So basically, is it going to completely move back to the office way, or is it going to be like a hybrid model?
It'll be slightly hybrid. We've got, say, some e-commerce clients. We've got some health and wellness clients, some coaching clients who don't necessarily need to have their staff in the office from a data security point of view. So we give them the option. If you want to have someone work from home permanently, totally fine with us. For those clients that demand that data security, they'll all be coming back. They have to.
Yeah. So we'll talk about data security because I know that is unique. I mean, I won't say unique as in what's the advantage in working with your model, because with my model, it's all about home opportunity. I set out to create job opportunities for people to work from home, be with their family, and it will always stay that way. And of course, when we deal with clients that are more sensitive about data, they might go, we prefer to work with someone like yours. So tell us a little bit about the data privacy side of your business that you can help clients with.
Okay, sure. There's so many layers to it, right? So we have to choose a location that, for example, our building has to be in a heavily policed area. So it always has to be in the main business district. We always have to have team members that have to enter a door that goes through a scanner and then has security guards to make sure that the team members have got their VA Platinum lanyard with all the logos and a card that has their face on it. From there, we have security cameras watching them from the outside of the building all the way into the lift. When they come out on our floor, more security cameras. And then outside of COVID, we use fingerprints for them to get into the office. But before they can even get in, we've got a bank of lockers in the hallway, and they have to put all their personal devices in there. So everything, wallets, purses, phones, paper pens, So when they put their fingerprint on the scanner, it's just them walking through. And then on their desks, they can't have paper or pens. They've just got their
Wow.
computer. They can have a mug to drink from that we give them. So we also make sure it's our mug because, you can have some of those keep cups these days that you could hide a USB into the lid or the bottom.
Ah, yes.
So we supply everyone with a mug with their name on it and it says VA Platinum. And when they're sitting at their desk, we actually take screenshots of their monitors every 3 minutes. And we have a data security team checking those monitors.
Mm.
And at the moment, we've got over 27 cameras. I think we're up to like 30, was 27, I think like 30-something cameras.
Yeah.
And our clients on their mobile phone can actually see the cameras where their team members sit. So they can look any time of the day at the team members working.
Yeah.
So,
that is a very highly secure place.
And that's probably about half of it. So
Yeah.
there's so much more that we do. But
Well, talking about that, I mean, I know with the business model itself in recruiting and managing a lot of people, it is a lot more complex and harder than if you build a team using outsourcing and then delivering a particular service. And in your sense, it's even more harder because it's, I guess, there's buildings, there's security, etc. Can you share a little bit of what other things to look out for if you are thinking about starting something like this? Because sometimes people see the good side, the easy side. Oh, it looks like you got so many team members and you work from home. I want to start a recruitment agency, but just wanted to share some honest advice from you on your journey.
Let's talk about the things that have gone wrong, I guess. When I was running my own previous financial planning practice, for example, we had a team member that wanted to move to another province. I think there's like 7,000 islands in the Philippines.
Mm.
And this team member was working really well and they were going well. Then all of a sudden, radio silence. We'd sent them like a $2,500 computer. It had all the data on it. We could remote into that computer to wipe it, but literally the person just stopped talking to us and disappeared. And this person had been with us for like over 2 years. Valued team member. We went and had Christmas parties together, holidays together, and just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have these horror stories where that can happen. Other situations where they pretend to be working, and if you haven't got your data security in place, they pretend to be working, but they're actually running 2 or 3 separate jobs. So, I had one team member that even went and got a full-time job working at Hewlett-Packard.
Wow.
And was just checking in with us in the morning, in their morning tea break, at lunch, in their afternoon, and after work. And their productivity just dropped off, and I couldn't work it out until I saw on LinkedIn that they were working full-time at Hewlett-Packard. So if you don't have the visibility, there can be that concern where, from a client in Australia, if they're not on a call visually like we're talking now on Zoom every day, several times a day, and if you're not working through an agency like yours or ours, there's that concern. Like, is it them at their desk doing the work? Have they outsourced the work to someone else? Mm-hmm. We've seen all of those.
Yeah. So that is why it's not an easy thing where every day we have like a virtual manager, supervisor checking in. And, for us, even though we don't need to do the whole screenshotting thing, it's really a lot of effort into making sure they're very engaged. They love their job so that they don't, get sidetracked on other things. But still, they're human beings. Anything could happen. And as you were saying is, we have cases where they've been working for a long time and they're really good. And when we endorse them to work with a client, their performance just dropped. But it's why? Because personal problem, whatever it is happening in their world changes. So if you're ready to kind of manage human beings and their problems and challenges, then have a recruitment agency like us where you kind of deal with all that all the time. But otherwise, you can definitely use outsourcing in other ways. Do you want to share a little bit of some different types of clients that you normally work with and how do they use their team? Because they obviously don't have to be recruiting a lot of people, but they just have enough team to support their business.
Yeah, sure. We always ask Lynn, the client at the start, why? Why do you want to work with team members in the Philippines? Why do you want to work with us? Their answers are nearly always unique. So one client who's now got 5 team members said, when he first came to us, said, look, I've got no profit in my business. I make $2.5 million a year in revenue, but no profit. I haven't taken my family away for 5 years. You'll prove to me, Brian, that this works well if within 6 months to 12 months, I have a stamp in my passport and all of my family and I have gone away for a month together. Mm-hmm. So that was his reason. He wanted to be with his family. So he wanted to reduce his time. He wanted to start making some money so he could afford to take his family away. And that gives us motivation that we can then help him do that. Other clients come to us as a, say, small family business, and they just want to hire one person so that they're no longer working 70 hours a week. They can just reduce it to 40 and again have lifestyle with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got bigger businesses who come to us saying, right, we have a vision in mind for our business. Here it is for the next 3 years. This is where we see you playing a part. We need you to hire this sort of role, this sort of role, this sort of role. And they build their teams up to 15 or 20 team members across, a bit of digital marketing, customer service. It could be a bit of IT. And we just partnered with them, I guess, to help them achieve their vision for their business.
Yeah.
They're all different.
Yeah. And what kind of roles do you normally recruit in? Is that quite similar to mine? And I remember talking to you last time, and you have a lot of clients within the finance industry as well, right? Because that's where your background was.
Yeah. Look, our niche is definitely finance. And that could be mortgage broking, accounting, bookkeeping, financial planning. We also seem to get a number of clients now in specialty areas like legal or engineering. We don't get many in that digital marketing space. We don't get many asking for, say, help with newsletters or video creation or social media.
Mm-hmm.
They want that as an add-on service, but not as full-time roles. So really, clients will come to us and they're always referred by someone else typically. And we'll be almost like a yes or a no. Do we feel like we can actually support you to the level that you need to be supported at? 99% of the time we say, yes, we can. But say if somebody came to me today and said, look, I'm after a digital marketing person, and I want them full-time and I want them in 4 weeks. The answer is no. Like at the moment, those people are hard to find, surprisingly. Mm-hmm. And a business like yours could probably find someone fast like that and bring them on. But a business like ours couldn't.
Mm. Yeah. Well, talking about a key thing you just mentioned is in the niching, I guess. So our business is a little bit different. I'm from the marketing digital background. So when I started recruiting VAs, I definitely dabbled into different types of VAs. When they said, do you know someone that can do telemarketing? Sure. Do you know how to get someone to accounting or something? I'm like, yeah, okay. Quickly to realize that I can't really help my clients well because I don't understand that area well. And so now we're kind of really sticking in our lane, which is, digital marketing type of VAs. And then on your end, you kind of have your niche too. So let's talk about some of the key things you've learned over the years of entrepreneurship or even in the outsourcing space that you can share, or things that you wish you known early on.
Things I wish I knew earlier on. Let's talk. Okay, entrepreneurship. So as I mentioned, I was still owning my business and only working in it an hour a month. And I took that time to invest into a number of startups. I reviewed over 200 startups during a couple of year period, and I chose 7 to invest into. And what I learned was that it's really the founder, like it's the you and myself, Lynn. If you can't believe in the founder, if they're not transparent, if they haven't got that drive, if they haven't got that structure, they're never going to make a true success of that business. If they're doing it for the wrong reasons too, if they're just doing it for self-fulfilling ego, you shouldn't start a business for that reason, because once you get to a certain size, you'll create unhappiness in the business and that'll transcend through all of your employees. So what I've learned from this entrepreneurship and interviewing over 200 people and being in it myself, you should always start with the end in mind, like the whole Stephen Covey thing. If you can't picture the vision of why you're doing this for yourself and why you're doing it for others, for a greater purpose. At the moment, we give away 10% of our profits to worthy impacts like water, trees, people, education. And that's why we're still here, because we enjoy delivering value to clients and to team members and developing both of them, but also so we can have a bigger impact in the world. And that's where I've seen it gone wrong with too many other entrepreneurs. They just don't have that vision for why they get up every day.
Yeah. Well, interesting. I just wanted to know, what makes you keep going? What's made you so resilient? Because I know another new thing that I learned recently was passion comes after you do something really well and do it long enough, right? And because I never knew outsourcing before, and now I'm very passionate about outsourcing, and then I became more into it because I realized the impact we're making. We're creating jobs for people in developing countries, and then clients are getting more free time with their family. And like you, we also donate. And so that's what keeps me going through the tough times. Curious to hear if yours is similar.
So when I stopped working, because the systems and the VAs, it was all working well, I wouldn't say I was unhappy. I mean, we started a gym, we started the vegan app, I was investing into startups, but it wasn't fulfilling. So for me, I'm 46 now, and I just want to have a fulfilling life where I'm engaged, I'm challenged. It's almost like a board game where, let's pretend it's snakes and ladders. You're going along okay. All of a sudden, something goes really well and you go up the ladder, and then something doesn't go quite so well and you go back down the snake. And that's fulfilling for me, finding that nice life work balance where I know you're a fan of getting up early and meditating and same here, like exercise, meditate, eat well, and then knowing that you're not leaving a legacy, but you're living a legacy. Like you're literally helping clients and you're helping your VA team members as we're living and working, rather than grinding to then leave a lump sum of money at the end of the day to others.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of living a legacy, gamification, fulfillment, and helping others at the same time.
Yeah, I totally can relate to you. And I think what the message I want to leave it with the audience is that don't think of outsourcing as something, and this is something that I wanted to kind of transform in the last 10 years, because when people used to think of outsourcing, it's like, oh, I like that area because it's get people really cheap and they do anything for you. And what it is no, this is so much more fulfilling when you can actually start a business that could create the impact and everyone's happy. That's what makes outsourcing to me very sexy now, whereas I think back then outsourcing was just like dirty word or like cheap and nasty. And if anyone's listening, it's like, don't get in it because you think there's money in there, it's profit, because it's not going to keep you going, through the tough times.
And not if you're growing and you're reinvesting a lot of your money back into developing the people. There isn't the high profits that people might think that there is. Like I know this next year, because we want to develop our people, like we're hiring a happiness officer, we're hiring 2 nurses for the wellness of the staff. Like if you're in it for the right reasons, and it's usually to help clients, but also to help your team members, you're going to reinvest a lot of the money back in. You're not putting it in your pocket.
Yes. Servant leadership is what you call it.
Well, I haven't heard that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Brian. I guess people can connect with you on VA Platinum and anywhere else that you'd like to let people know. Yeah?
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's the easiest. People can find me at Brian Royce Jones on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today, Brian. I hope we've inspired people. I'm sure I have. I just remembered all the good things about VAs and and I'm glad to meet people like yourself. And it's also just a reminder in business, it's about collaboration and not competition. People are probably wondering like, why am I interviewing a competitor on my show? It's because there is such an abundant world. We can all have a piece of the pie and we all do good things in different ways. And I think that's what I always want people to encourage, is that when you meet people that are in the same field, there is just still more room to collaborate or partner, and you never know where it takes you as well.
Totally agree, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode with me and Brian. And if you have any questions or comments for us, love to hear from you in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.